Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. We have another live broadcast of Nation Town TV. Myself, Brother Landon X, your brother, with my brother, Brother Alfonso X. We have a very interesting topic today, partly based to the poll that we did. We let the viewers choose which topic we would do this time around. Shout out to Brother Yusuf, also Sister Shana Joy, for their contribution to that. And before we get started, I'll go ahead and introduce my brother, Brother Alfonso X, hard driving soldier. Got the whole mosque on his shoulders. All praise to Allah. But go ahead, dear brother.
Yes, I'd like to start off in the most holy name of Allah, who appeared to us in the person, the Master, Father Muhammad, who came down from his holy habitation and traveled 9,000 miles to redeem what was lost in the hills and wilderness of North America, who raised up the first begotten son, the first fruit of the nation of Islam, our messenger, Messiah, and exalted Christ by the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a Georgia-born black man raised into a God. And also, I would like to bear witness of a man whom he allowed and gave permission to sit in his seat in this day and time as a warning, teacher, and guide in our midst, by the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And family, I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum. And this topic here today is a very special topic, you know, to a lot of Americans, especially a lot of so-called African Americans, you know, because we are some of the biggest spenders around the holiday season, around Christmas time, you know, especially on Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, you know, we the biggest spenders during the holidays, you know, and it's also a very religious holiday as well, you know, so we would like to start this topic off, you know what I mean, Brother Landon?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, just as my brother did, I'm going to start off with the salutations in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who mercifully came to us, a foolish people, a destroyed people, some might say even the ignorant people, but he came to us in the person of Master Father Muhammad, so mercifully. I further bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, to be right and exact and down to the modern time.
That's right.
And I am so thankful, as a brother that was actually born after 1975, so-called fall of the nation. I'm so thankful that the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan picked up that baton by merging his mind with both the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Father Muhammad, because had he not took on that role and took on that challenge, then my entire generation would have been psychologically and spiritually stillborn, if you understand. So in those three great names, I greet you in the words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, the original language of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
And today, as our brother said, we're dealing with Christmas, what I like to call the great white lie.
Come on.
You know, we're taught in the dictionary as well as in colloquial understanding that a white lie is something that's minor.
Right.
But actually, white lies in this world, in the real world, are the worst lie.
Right.
And the Christmas lie could quite possibly be the worst of them all, if you really break it down. But as I always start off, I want to start off first of all by saying that Nation Town TV, welcome to Nation Town TV. And here at Nation Town TV, we're devoted to genuine mathematical distribution of news, opinions, and facts. The name Nation Town is inspired by our beautiful brother, our student regional minister out here on the West Coast.
That's right. Go ahead.
West Coast. Student minister Tony Muhammad. He's planted that seed in our minds of the believers here at Mighty West Point. And Brother Alfonso and myself, by way of doing business for ourselves as well as this endeavor, we're trying to make his word flesh. And these live segments and topics are really just an online version of the type of science and so-called building that brothers do every day at the mosque. You know, sometimes we talking when we really shouldn't be talking when we on post. But it gets very interesting and it's always filled with facts, and it's always a learning experience for all those involved. So we just decided to give it to the people, the good people of Facebook, so you can get that experience for yourself. In the Nation, we're taught to learn the science of everything. So on Nation Channel TV, we discuss the science of everything, and that's pretty much our entire topic. But I want to go ahead and get this rolling. Again, the topic tonight is Christmas, the Great White Lie.
Right.
And I'm gonna start off with a question from my brother Alfonso. What was your opinion of Christmas as a child? How did you view Christmas when you was a young Alfonso or baby Fonzo?
Ooh, that's funny, because I kind of thought of that on the ride up here. You know, Christmas time for a young brother Alfonso was like a magical thing, you know, for me. You know what I mean? Because I was so far in the grave, you know, I didn't know better. And I kind of found out that Santa Claus didn't exist the hard way. You know,
that's right.
And my grandmother, what she used to do during Christmas time was, when me and my younger sister, and she would take us and put us in the car, and she would drive us in like the good parts of Los Angeles, you know what I mean, where like a lot of the rich people were, a lot of high middle class people were, who had a lot of Christmas decorations, you know, and the Christmas lights in front of the houses, you know, and like every house had Christmas lights. And she would, you know, take us and drive down the streets just to go see Christmas lights as we were younger. You know what I mean? She always kept gifts under the tree. But one day, you know, me and my sister just so happened to be going through one of her closets and found all the gifts in the closet. Realized that Santa Claus didn't even exist. And I don't know if you, I know you probably remember the guy who used to have his name used to be Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Oh yeah. Home Improvement.
The Home Improvement guy.
Yes,
and
sir.
he had the Santa Claus movies, you know what I mean? So Christmas for me as a young brother in my household was just like a magical thing. You know, if you wasn't down with Christmas, man, it was sacrilegious, you know.
Exactly. And you know, and that's pretty much, you know, what my experience was like. You know, and I agree, you know, growing up poor, Christmas, you know, you're almost forced to be a Jehovah's Witness. Just look at things like a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
Because, you know, it's hard to really, you know, understand a lot of the traditions. For example, Santa Claus. You know, how did Santa Claus get in the house? He got in the house by a chimney.
Right.
You know, I had a chimney once in my life, and that was a townhouse that I lived in that I paid for as a grown man.
Right.
But growing up, we lived in several different apartments, several different rental houses. I never even seen a chimney till I was like 25.
Right.
So growing up in the hood, it automatically kills or puts into question that Christmas tradition or so-called Christmas spirit. And also, you know, in the hood I grew up in, and I know it's a lot of people watching that can relate, I didn't know too many people who had, you know, a mountain of gifts up under their Christmas tree.
Right.
So at an early age, I started to wonder, you know, either Santa Claus is fake or he's racist. Because I don't see him in my hood. You know, either he's fake or he's racist, or, you know, he's just scared of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's scared of the north side or whatever hood you in, or whatever city you in. So, you know, my idea of Christmas and tradition and everything was shaky from the beginning.
Right.
And so it was real easy to detach me from that. But I also got to give props to Gertrude Josephine Harper, my mother, because she never pushed that on me too hard.
Right.
You know, I remember her mentioning Santa Claus maybe once or twice, you know, but she never really, you know, went out her way, because the way she operated, you know, if she spent her hard-earned money on a gift, she's going to take credit for it.
Right.
So all my gifts had, you know, from mama to so-and-so and such and such, you know, from, you know, uncle this, you know, from my sister, from grandma that. So I never had a gift that said from Santa.
Right.
to landing. So
Yeah,
I've
I've never had that experience, you know. But you know, when I lost my mother on Christmas Day when I was 4 years old, my brother, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I found out that she died on Christmas, I was like, what? You know what I mean? I'm like, well, how, you know, Christmas is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, a day of happiness and joy, but that day for me turned into tragedy. You know what I mean? And I never looked at it, you know, I woke up then like, man, if I could lose my mother on Christmas Day, this must not be a special day. And that's when I began to like really wake up, you know, as a youngster.
Wow. Definitely sorry to hear that. But you know, and that goes back to what I was saying, you know, a lot of people can't directly relate to such a terrible tragedy on Christmas.
Right.
But you know, when you growing up in the hood, you know, the hood don't stop for Christmas.
Right.
You know,
man,
you know, you still got, you know, shootings. Poverty don't stop. Poverty don't take a break.
Right.
You know, when Christmas come around, if anything, poverty is highlighted.
Right.
You know, if you poor, there's no time in the year where you feel poorer.
Oh man, come on, man! When you get the Christmas presents, you really offended.
So you know, it's tragic just in that sense.
Right.
But on top of that, you know, that's just a real life example of how it is. You know, growing up, not just black, but also underprivileged, and you know, and in the hood. You know, we dealing with real realities, and so it's hard to deal with something that's fake when you're dealing with an environment that's extremely real.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Why are we so in love with Christmas?
You know, our love affair with Christmas is really, you know, inexplicable. It's not a logical way to explain it other than the fact that when someone becomes your God and your master, and you are 100% loyal to that God and master, or you truly fear that God and master, you're going to take on everything that they put on you.
Right.
You know, and it's also a psychological thing. That's why black people, and I think we mentioned this in the previous episode, we really got to look into getting some type of, you know, psychological assistance. You know, whatever it is you believe in, whether it's getting out of there, whether it's going to a shrink, but however you feel, but we really got to deal with that. Because, you know, one of the reasons why, you know, we swear that Christmas goes back to slavery.
Right.
You know, that was one of the few days on the plantation where massa, you know, if you had a horrible, I mean, they were all horrible if they were slave masters, but if you had a very violent, you know, slave master, slave hand, that was the day where you had the day off.
Right.
And that week, you know, around that time, they were more, you know, lenient with you. You know, that was, and they even would, they give you a piece of chicken.
That's good teaching.
So it really trained our minds to think that this must be a holy day.
Right.
Because this evil master who been whipping the skin off my back for 364 days, he just finally came around and said, you know what, y'all can have a day off. Y'all can have a piece of chicken that ain't, you know, 3 weeks old, you know. And he was, if any one of us knew how to play music, if you ever seen Roots, the original or the new one, you know, they let Fiddler go out there and do his thing.
Oh yeah, man, that was crazy.
Around. So, you know, one thing about it, we learned this through studying Dianetics, is that when something happens at a certain time, even if it happens early in life, it sticks with you.
Right.
It sticks with you. It becomes what they call an engram. So, you know, that's like the engram has been passed down.
Right.
You know, that this is the day where we need to do whatever we need to do.
Right.
Because this is, you know, the off day for the niggas.
And I think it's sad because, you know, like we have a lot of family members who celebrate Christmas, and then when we try to educate them about, you know, the true meaning, you know, about Christmas, but our people still disregard the message. You know, when we present a clear understanding of what they are celebrating, and our people refuse to let it go. You know what I mean? And it's sad though. You know, it was like we just so in love with Christmas, and then it's like when as an adult we acknowledge the truth, but we use the excuse, oh no, this is for the children. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to celebrate it. I at least want them to have fun and have a good time just like I did when I was a child. So is it okay to use that as an excuse for the children to continue to celebrate a pagan holiday?
Absolutely not.
Right.
You know, because Christmas is a lie from the rooter to the tutor. It's a lie from top to bottom.
Right.
It's toe up from the flow up. So, and every parent, even the worst parents, you know, will be extremely, you know, disappointed with their child if they lie to them.
Right. Good teaching.
You know, that's, you know, all the, you know, pardon my Swahili, you know, all the ass whoopings.
Mm-hmm.
If you did a scientific study of all the ass whoopings that every child has ever taken, 90% of them probably took place because of a lie.
Right.
You know, and that probably made that whooping even worse, or that punishment. If, you know, white folks do timeout and all that kind of stuff. You know, the timeout is going to be a little longer if you lied about it. You know? That's one thing every parent, regardless of rich, poor, black, white, parents hate to be lied to. However, we start a child out from the beginning lying to the child. Lying to the child. You know, in fact, you know, they have something in the law, in the legal field called a class action lawsuit, where a bunch of people who have been wronged in the same way can come together. Do you know that every child, everybody who's ever been a child could file a class action lawsuit against every parent?
Oh man, come on.
You know, just off the fact that, you know, that is a huge lie. And it's not what they teach us to consider a white lie. I got that out of my vocabulary. You know, using white lie as a lie that's harmless or whatever. That's, you know, white lies are the worst lies.
Good teaching.
But we talk to think that, you know, it's just for the babies. You know, it's just for the babies so they can have fun and all that. No, man, it's the worst kind of lie because it's also connected to a day that's supposed to be a holy day.
Oh man,
in fact,
come
that's
on,
what
man.
holiday
Good
means.
teaching, brother.
It means holy day. So you're connecting your lie to God. And it reminds me of what the minister always said, you know, using a certain religion to shield your dirty religion.
Come on.
And that's what almost every Christian parent or every parent that participates in Christmas is doing. You using Jesus, you know, the so-called Son of God, the only begotten Son of God, so-called, to shield your dirty religion. And a lie is always a dirty religion. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that answer, brother.
No problem.
Now, I see, because that was the segue talking about the true meaning of Christmas, and I see that you get ready to pull up a video of Minister Farrakhan. Would you like to share some of his words with us?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, we always got to hear the minister, you know, whenever we do this. And in this, you know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is dealing with the true meaning of Christmas. And I want y'all to pay attention. If you have any audio issues, feel free to comment and let us know. But it should be pretty clear. But this is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the true meaning of Christmas.
You're not celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And if you are, you're making a mockery of it. You drink more alcohol on his birthday than any other day in the year. And you're turning the so-called birthday of Jesus Christ into a commercial feast of foolishness. Santa Claus has knocked Jesus out of the top spot. And the merchants who don't even believe in Jesus are busy selling you foolishness, making themselves rich and you poor for another year on the basis of a lie. And that's why they call it Xmas. Because you don't know who it is that you are worshiping. Where did you get this Christmas tree from? What does that have to do with Jesus Christ? And in all your churches, you have this big tree. Look at what Jeremiah the prophet said. It warns you not to follow the way of the heathens. For the heathens go in the forest and they cut down the tree.
All praise due
Oh, praise due to Allah.
You know, and I thank the minister for that guidance. And, you know, I believe this video is from the looks at it, of it, the mid-90s.
Right.
And, you know, and it's been circulating around the so-called conscious community, the truth about Christmas.
Right.
But, you know, the value of having a divine leader, teacher, and guide like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is that the followers in the nation of the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad have been having this teaching for a long time. They, you know, all the way back to when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in our midst. So I thank Allah for that. Dear Brother Alfonso, what's your opinion of this particular excerpt from the minister?
I think the minister hit it from a spiritual perspective, you know, and I think he was getting ready to go into the actual scripture, because a lot of our people proclaim to be Christians, you know, that is celebrating a pagan holiday, you know, and I believe he was getting ready to refer to a scripture, and I'll read it in Jeremiah 10, verses 2 through 5.
Go ahead.
It says, "Thus said the Lord." So anytime God says something in the Bible and it says, "Thus said the Lord," that's him speaking.
Come on.
Right? It said, "Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good." So so our people, when the minister and anybody else who presents this type of evidence to them say, "Hey, look, Christian, this is in your Bible, so why are you celebrating something when it's telling you that this is a holiday or a holy day that is celebrated by the heathen?"
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, so we definitely, as a people, we got to do our research and understanding what we are celebrating, because really Jesus wasn't even born December 25th. You know what I'm saying? Jesus wasn't born December 25th. There was a wicked king by the name of Nimrod who was born on December 25th, whom he murdered his father, and he had sex with his mother and had a child by his mother, and then he died. And then what they did was they put I believe it was a pine tree where he was buried. He and his mother, and the people that loved him will go and put presents under the tree, and thus you have Christmas. Jesus was not born on December 25th, you know. So, and even the Bible proves that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, and I've always felt that when it comes to, you know, we might as well celebrate slavery.
Right.
You know, that's how ridiculous it is for particularly anyone to celebrate Christmas in the way that it's actually celebrated.
Right.
But particularly black and aboriginal people, we might as well, you know, have like a slave Halloween where we all dress up in chains and dress up like slaves and have parties. That's how silly and ridiculous it is when I see ourselves. But there is one thing that I like about traditional Christmas. Even now, even at my age now, even with the knowledge and wisdom that I'm growing into now, there is one thing, Brother Alfonso, that I love about Christmas.
Come on.
I love that it is the greatest piece of evidence of what we talk about all the time, the white God syndrome.
Oh man, come on.
It is exhibit A, B, C, and D of us having white God syndrome, because there's no other explanation for us to celebrate Christmas in the way that we do.
Right.
And we supposed to, and we supposed to be the biggest Jesus freaks.
Right.
You know, I mean, you talk to any black person, particularly over the age of 45, every other word come out their mouth is Jesus.
Right.
In the name of Jesus.
Come on.
You know,
Amen. Hallelujah.
praise Jesus across
Right.
the street from Jesus.
Right.
Ride shotgun with Jesus.
Right.
You know
Come
what I
on,
mean?
come
So,
on.
but Christmas is the greatest disrespect to Jesus.
Right. Go ahead.
I mean, Christmas is an annual diss to Jesus.
Man, come on.
You know what I mean?
gotta
It is
speak on
an
that.
annual diss to
Right.
Jesus. It is the worst way to recognize Jesus because it does not recognize Jesus.
Right.
And in fact, I'm gonna go a little deeper into breaking down the disrespect of the actual displacement of Jesus and replacing him with Santa Claus.
Right.
Because,
Same there.
because it wasn't really a replacement as it was someone which they're known for, which the white man is known for. It's like falsehood wearing truth's clothes.
Right.
Because they actually took Jesus and all that's known of him from the Bible, and they actually manufactured, because Saint Nick is a real person, but they
Right.
manufactured this caricature that's actually based on Jesus.
Right.
So they literally, just like they made Jesus white, that was their first assault on
Right.
Jesus. But that wasn't
I like the
enough.
way you said that. Assault on Jesus.
I mean, that was
Come on.
the first assault on Jesus.
Come on.
But that wasn't enough. It was
Right.
like what they call them snuff films.
Right.
It ain't enough to just hurt him and kill him and get it over with. They had to continue to torture
Overkill.
Jesus. Overkill.
Right.
I mean, is it bad enough that he went through the crucifixion first?
Man,
What they
come
call it
on.
the passion of the Christ.
That's right.
You know, they still torturing him
Right.
by actually taking Santa and replacing and using him to replace Jesus. But
Right.
it's actually a lot of facts, biblical facts, that point out the manufacturing of the
Well,
Santa.
Santa's more marketable. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Another question. Yes, sir. Another question, dear brother. Before I'm gonna have to step off for a second. But what? Now that you're, as the Supreme Wisdom lesson said, you know, now that you're a big man, what is your outlook on Christmas and the way that it's celebrated?
Man, great question, and that was going to segue into some of the words of Minister Farrakhan, right? So I'm gonna read out the Final Call newspaper article of what Minister Farrakhan said, and I will add, my 2 cents to it. Minister Farrakhan said this: "Now Christmas is coming, and many of you as pastors are preparing for Christmas. See, Satan has misused the name of Jesus. We say Jesus is born on December 25th. How do we honor his birth? Drunk? The liquor store is happy because the pastors lead the way to the liquor store because you are going to do it in Jesus' name. So my answer to your question is that, my outlook is, I see our people use Christmas as a reason to get high, to get drunk, you know what I'm saying? Celebrate eating pork, although the Bible specifically told us not to eat the swine.
That's right.
But we got big old hams on our Christmas, on our table for Christmas for dinner.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think we just use it as an excuse to do what we do every day. You know what I'm saying? Smoking, drinking, but Christmas is a bigger excuse to do this stuff now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's my take on that, my brother.
Yes, sir. And for me, now that I'm an adult and I see it through adult eyes, I see it through Muslim eyes, the worst part is the economic aspect.
Right.
Touched on
Right.
a little bit. Every time we start talking about it, every time so-called intelligent, not so-called, but actually intelligent or well-meaning black people come together and start talking about doing something for the liberation of black people, people always start asking, well, we tried everything.
Right.
You know, I hear that a lot. We did everything. We marched. We voted.
Right.
But then they don't have nothing else to say after that.
Right.
As if those were only two things that can be done. But one thing we never actually done, and we never gone through it. Every time we touched it, or even flirted with it, it was wildly successful.
Right.
But the one thing we never truly did and stuck to it and continued with it is economic unity.
Right.
We never stuck to that and kept. We would do it long enough to get this enemy to buckle a little bit.
That's good teaching.
You know, and then we'll pull back and go back to our regular scheduled programming. For example, you know, the protest that was done, I believe, a couple of years ago at the University of Missouri, where these black college football players said, you know what, until this president is fired, we're not going to play a game. We're not going to play a down of football.
Right.
And I thought that was beautiful for them to take that stance, you know, and, you know, that actually moved me more than Colin Kaepernick. But my question is, why should it stop there? A lot of college athletes want to be paid as well.
Right.
And since they generate billions of dollars, why not continue a protest like that, a boycott like that, and let that lead to them actually getting paid, or at least being able to get paid after the fact, after they leave college? Because this should be in an escrow or something. I'm not going to change the subject, but we never use economic unity like we're supposed to.
Right.
And when you look at what we do, I looked up some facts about the way we spend our money. Now, Christmas is, now one of the reasons why Black Friday is called Black Friday, you know, and this is actual information, not meme knowledge. You know, a lot of brothers and sisters get the information off of Facebook memes.
Right.
But the industrial meaning of Black Friday is because most retail giants and retail stores, that's their opportunity. If they've been struggling all year, or if they've just been barely, you know, getting by all year as far as making a profit, that's the year that they go into what they call in business the black. If you're losing money, you in the red. If you're making money, you in the black. So that's the time of the year where all the retailers, and I'm gonna touch on these retailers in a minute, but all the retailers go into the black. But the interesting thing is everybody spends more around Christmas. But nobody spends more of their money at a sharper increase around Christmas than black people.
Right. Right.
Now, I want to qualify that real quick, though, because somebody who's going to watch this is going to say, wait a minute, brother, how are you telling me that black people spend more money than white people just because black folks are buying Jordans? White people buy cars. If you look at the advertisement during football games, they got Lexus commercials with a big old red bow around the Lexus.
Right.
But here's what I'm saying. Black people spend more of our money, 17% more to be exact, than actual other races and other types of people.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, we only buying Jordans, but if we got $500 to our name and we put 200 of it down on some Jordans, you know, that's nothing. That's huge compared to a white person who has 200,000,
right,
and then he puts 30,000, you know, on a Lexus or on a diamond ring. So we're spending more of our money than anybody else around Christmas. And like Brother Nuri says, you know, we're the only people, you know, who blame white people for 98% of all of our ills, but you know, 95% of our money goes to them. I mean, that's not only ridiculous, you know, it makes me think that we really do have mental issues. We all need to get out of it. We all need to shrink if we spending that kind of money with our oppressors.
You know, and Minister Farrakhan teaches us that, you know, we have a spending power of $1.1 trillion.
Sir.
You know what I mean? So we are right now we are a consumer nation, and that's what's killing us financially, because we're not selling the resources, we're not selling the products, the goods, the merchandise. You know what I'm saying? We are a consumer nation at this point. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has encouraged us, because he had heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and realized the real reason why they killed Dr. King is because he wanted to redistribute the pain. You know what I mean? He said, okay, well, if y'all not going to give us justice, then we're gonna have the black community stop spending money with these businesses. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, hey, you know what? Dr. King had a genius idea. Maybe if we just hold back our dollars and just spend money with other black businesses and let the money circulate in our community, you know, we will be more well off. You know what I'm saying? We will no longer be consumers because we are spending money with self. You know what I mean? So we have to quit being a consumer nation and always, every time we see something, you know, we just gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? Being in the Black Friday lines, like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? We know better. You know what I'm saying? Even some of us, you know what I'm saying, trying to sneak up in there for Black Friday. You know what I mean? We need to knock all that stuff off. You know what I mean? If we want to be successful, we got to learn how to be a disciplined people. You know what I'm saying? We are not a disciplined people right now, but I would like to play a quick excerpt of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan right quick.
Once again, dear brothers and sisters, if you have any issue with the audio, let us know. But it should be pretty clear. Shout out to everybody joining on. I see you. Brother Nicholas Graves, I see you, dear brother.
Real quick, brother.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, dear brother. We will be taking all pinned questions and also checking out the comments once we get a chance.
I'm just gonna play one with Dr. King. I'm sorry, everybody. Hold on real quick. I found the wrong video, so I'm just gonna play the one with Dr. King. Can everybody hear? Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All praise due to
All
Allah.
praise due to Allah.
And may Allah be pleased with our dear brother, Dr. King. And contrary to what a lot of people believe, we love Dr. King. You know, personally, you know, I know the minister loves him and respects him. The nation has been very critical of so-called Negro preachers.
Right.
But let's not forget that Dr. King, and this was probably the nail, I hate to use this euphemism, but the nail in his, you know, proverbial coffin.
Right.
That he met a couple of times with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad before his assassination.
Right.
And some people are even convinced that, you know, he was on his way to a very sharp turn in his ideology. And I believe we have a question from one of the viewers. Shout out to the viewers once again.
That's right. We got a question from Brother Nicholas Devolsky Graves.
Yes, sir.
So what do you do, my brothers, when the brothers and sisters are asleep to this great wisdom when you try to give them over and over?
Well, you know, that's what we call in the Nation of Islam in our Supreme Wisdom lesson, the rusty locks.
Right.
You know, one of the biggest things, like I said, it has psychological implications. You know, we feel like we're really gonna miss out on something if we don't participate in this pagan celebration of Christmas.
Right.
But you know, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, you know, you don't always have to condemn a dirty glass.
Right.
All you have to do is present a clean glass next to that dirty glass, and obviously a sound-minded individual is going to make the right choice. So to all of those who will go and visit family and be around family in this holiday, you know, don't browbeat them. You know, don't go in your mama house preaching. You know, if your mama anything like my mama, your people anything like my people, you might get kicked out in the cold. So don't go up in the house, you know, talking crazy. Be an example. Go in there and, you know, and not partake in the silly traditions, you know, the mistletoe and all that, you know, and make it clear that you're just there to see your family. And then when they see you, you know, around the holidays and you're happy and you're enjoying life and you're exuberant, you know, they'll see, wow, if I give up Christmas and this pagan tradition, it ain't gonna be the end of the world. I'm not gonna be ready to jump off a bridge. And then they might even see you spending some of the extra money that you kept in your pocket, but not, you know, partaking in it. So that's the best thing with the what we call the rusty locks. But you're gonna run into some people who are gonna ask questions, and they're gonna say, well, brother, tell me why I should participate in the pagan tradition of Christmas.
Right.
And then that's the brother you want to talk to, or the sister that you want to you know, go into your bag of knowledge and really spill it out. But don't waste that bag on somebody who's a rusty lock, somebody who just ain't trying to hear it, somebody who's comfortable with their slave life.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of very comfortable slaves. It was comfortable slaves 300 years ago, and it's comfortable slaves now. You know, it was actual chattel slaves, not even house Negroes, but actual field slaves who you could not talk into running away.
Right.
If you were a runaway slave, if you was a Kunta Kinte brand of slave, you could go to your brother whose whole back was striped with whip stripes, and you couldn't convince him. His wife or his mother may have just gotten raped by the slave hand, and you couldn't convince him that there's something better somewhere else.
Right.
And nothing has changed today. So some of our people, they're rusty locks, and the best way to teach them is just as your with your personal example, that clean glass, and not try to preach them.
And also, as we had taught, you know what I'm saying, a consistent drop of water will go through steel.
Right.
You know what I mean? So your relatives are looking for you to fall off. You know what I'm saying? So if you say that you believe in this, then be consistent with it. Don't be found partaking in those type of festivities with them, because once you do, you're going to be looked at and deemed as a hypocrite. You know what I mean? But stand on your square and stay strong on what you believe, and then God will gradually open up their eyes to see the truth of what's actually taking place. Because when they soon realize that when they standing in line for Walmart, you know what I'm saying, and then they hear that Walmart gave millions of dollars to support somebody like George Zimmerman. You know what I'm saying? Darren Wilson, you know what I'm saying, sending them thousands of dollars for their court cases and their lawyer fees and stuff like that. When they stand in them long lines to get their pair of Jordans, and they find out that Michael Jordan got stocks and bonds in the prison system, locking up young black and brown men and women, you know what I'm saying? When they start to see this truth, then there will be a change in our community. But when we are ignorant to these things and we are willingly going to these businesses, giving our hard-earned money, You know what I'm saying? We will no longer continue to do this when we begin to know the truth. So I think that we just have to be consistent and stand on our square. We don't have to, like brother said, go and constantly beat them up, beat them down with the truth. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is be that clean glass next to a dirty glass, because one day your cousin that was stubborn, or your auntie or uncle that was kind of stubborn, they gonna come up to you like, man, and start asking you questions, man. So why don't you celebrate Christmas? Now they want to know, and then that will be the time to teach.
Right, and they also gonna start doing the math.
Right.
Because you're gonna end up being that brother or that sister in your family that's got extra money.
Right.
And then somebody in your family is gonna start wondering, man, why does Uncle so-and-so or brother so-and-so, why do they have more money than the rest of the family? Their job is not that much better. Why do they have more money? Why are they happy?
I save money switching to Islam.
Right. I save money switching to Islam. I save money, switching to truth.
Right.
So when they see that, they're going to make a transition, a natural transition,
right,
that you won't even notice until that transition is complete. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give some real sound advice to my brothers and sisters.
Right.
Who are in that category, who don't want to give up Christmas, but they know it's wrong. I'm going to give you some sound advice. And this is all I'm asking on behalf of Nation Town TV. This is all I'm asking, dear brothers and sisters. Shout out to the sad Jordan Santa Claus we got behind us with the crying baby. I think we're tripping on that. But here's my sound advice. Be consistent.
Right.
Be consistent. If you say, well, you still want to celebrate Christmas because it's tradition and you're doing it for the babies, and you're a Christian and you love Jesus and your mama did it, your mama's mama did it. Okay, be consistent. And here's what I mean by be consistent. Because as brothers in the Nation of Islam and the FOI, the GDP, the gross domestic product of the Nation of Islam, is the Final Call newspaper. And the interesting thing about the Final Call newspaper, when the brothers are out with this paper, for the most part, we get a lot of love and we get a lot of support. South Central love the Muslims out here. LA love the Muslims. The Muslims get respect all over the country, all over the world. Shout out to our international, study groups and regions. But it's always those brothers and sisters who you say, how you doing, brother? Hey, what's going on? Hey, go ahead and get your paper, Final Call. Number one news not controlled by the Jews. You try to put a smile on their face and then they say, I ain't no Muslim. Or I believe in Jesus. I have one brother, and I'm going to tell a story about a brother in a minute at the swap meet.
Right.
But, I have one brother, he just say, I don't believe in Farrakhan. Like Farrakhan is some kind of deity or something. You know what I mean? So here's my challenge to all those people who think like that. And you do that to brothers in the streets, not just the Muslims, but any black person who's representing some type of ideology, and you tell them, I'm not going to support you because I don't agree 100% with your ideology. Be consistent and do that same thing to Macy's. Do that same thing to Nike. Go find out what Phil Knight believes in. Phil Knight is the founder and CEO of the Nike Corporation. In fact, and this is a true story, do you know he makes $23? 23, interesting number, $23 for every $1 that Michael Jordan makes on Jordan shoes. He's worth $23 billion. Michael Jordan is worth just over $1 billion. So if you do the math on that, he's making $23 for every $1 that Mike is
killing
making.
the game.
So go ask Phil Knight, who's a Jew. And most of his money goes to the University of Oregon. That's why they got those funny but cool looking football uniforms, and their facilities are top notch. They never won a championship, but they got the best facilities and the best outfits because Phil Knight went to Oregon and he supports his own.
Right.
So when you support the Nation of Islam, when you support black people and their organizations, they're able to support their own, but instead we're supporting the Phil Knights of the world. Go to Macy's.
Right.
Macy's actually invented that tradition of a Santa, of a child sitting on Santa's lap. Right. Macy's started that. They made that a worldwide phenomenon.
Right.
But do you know that the owners who bought into the company and made it the worldwide company that it is are Jewish?
Right.
Ask a Jew how he feels about Jesus.
Good teacher.
They don't
Man,
believe
come on,
in
man,
Jesus.
they hate Jesus.
Not only do they not believe in Jesus, but they believe that Jesus is dead and gone and boiling in his own excrement. If you don't know what excrement is, look it up.
Right.
But that's in the Jewish Talmud.
Right.
So they believe that not only is Jesus not the Son of God, but he deserves to be somewhere boiling in a pool of his own excrement.
Right.
Okay?
These
So
men are Zionists.
exactly.
Right.
So this is what most of the people that you spend your money with feel about your Jesus.
Come on.
That you love in
Come
the
on,
name of
they
Jesus.
hate it.
Praise Jesus across the street from Jesus. You know, in the back seat with Jesus. See, this is how they actually feel.
But show disdain towards the people who say that they actually love and believe in Jesus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just kind of see Jesus a little differently. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, we would never step out and say, "Oh yeah, Jesus should be boiling his own." Actually, as a matter of fact, for you to even be a Muslim, you had to believe in all of God's prophets and the books that they came with. That's just the part. Those are just the principles of Islam.
Right.
You know, but one thing is black people that we don't even understand the science of warfare. You know what I'm saying? And we don't understand the three sciences of warfare, which is the science of mating,
Right.
the science of business, and the third one, the science of business, the science of mating.
And science of business, science of mating, and the it's slipping my mind.
Right, yeah, it's slipping my mind right now. But I'm just gonna come back to me. But we have to learn the science.
Feel somebody on the comment.
Right, yeah.
Nation Town.
Right. We have to learn the science of business because business is warfare. So the Jews and whoever, even the white Gentiles are making a killing of your Christmas dollars every year while your community continues to suffer. We're not telling people get together and buy the community a gang of toys. You know what I'm saying? A gang of video games. We don't need all that stuff. We need resources. We need land. You know, we need the tangible things, the things that matter. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It was the science of business, the science of mating, and the science of warfare.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But we got a question right here.
Yes, sir.
What is the effect of these lives? What is the effect of these lies on the minds of children and the credibility of their parents?
You know, one of the silliest things that so many adults believe is that children are dumb, or that children are not paying attention. In fact, you're better off believing that when it comes to an adult than a child. See, a child comes out of the womb hungry to learn. I don't care what race they are. I don't care what social background they're born in, what social economic environment they're born in. Children love to learn. That's why they say the best time to learn a second language is when you're a child. Because children are like sponges. They soak up things. If you don't believe me, pay attention to how they do, you know, with the things that you allow them to watch. You know, their favorite cartoons. You know, some of y'all sitting up watching Beyonce videos with your 3-year-old. And watch how that child does every move that Beyonce does. Every move that's on
I used to love
video.
Michael Jackson. I used to be in there doing, you know.
And that's all learning. That's all learning. That's all the ability to see something and then play it back.
Right.
You know, and when you can play it back physically, that shows that you really have, you know, a very sound mind. So your child is watching you. They're paying attention to what you're doing. This is one of the reasons why a lot of preachers and people of God have trouble with their children because they see their father or their mother up on the pulpit or the rostrum and they teaching hard and they coming with the fire and brimstone and then they go home and they just as much a nigga as anybody else that was in that church. And they grow up seeing that and they think, okay, my father is or my mother is the gold standard of righteousness, but I know she's not righteous or he's not righteous. So that turns them away, you know, from that actual, you know, that belief system of just being a righteous person. And, you know, to put it plainly, if you lie to your child, how can you then turn around and get mad at them when they lie to you? You know, one of the dumbest things that we tell children, particularly black people, and I just got to call it dumb because it is dumb and we should stop doing it. And this is my humble opinion, dear brother. We should stop telling children, you know, do as I say, not as I do. You are, I don't care how high-tech television gets, how high-tech the internet gets, you are your child's main role model. You know, they can listen to a rap song, that rap song is 5 minutes. They can watch a cartoon, that cartoon is 30 minutes. They can watch a movie, that movie is an hour and a half. But how long are they with you? How many hours, how many minutes are they watching you? You are always the main event, the main attraction in your child's life, so they're watching you. So if you raise them on a lie, don't be surprised when they turn out to be liars. And that lie is going to manifest in the worst way, and you're going to be sitting up there, I don't know what went wrong. I swear to God, I'm raising my child right. You started off lying to them from the womb. They didn't even, you know, we buy Christmas presents for 1-year-olds. This 1-year-old don't even know what's going on at all. So we starting off from the beginning with a lie. And then we have the nerve to chastise these children hard when they lie later on. So that in itself proves their hypocrisy.
And one way that it affects the child is that we are conditioning that child to be out of touch with reality.
Right.
So for somebody to believe in Christmas, whether you are an adult or you're a child, in my humble opinion, you are out of touch with reality. And you teaching your child to be out of touch with reality, because when they become older and they get grown, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be looking at you like, well, you a liar. You know what I'm saying? You told me Santa Claus is real. You got me celebrating Christmas, although this is a pagan holiday that snuck into the religion 325 AD by the Emperor Constantine. When they find out the truth, you know what I'm saying, your credibility is shot. You know what I'm saying? You can only tell them so much to where they're gonna be looking at you with the side eye. You feel what I'm saying? So one thing that we have to do as a people is we have to be in present time. We have to get back in touch with what's real and what's not real. Christmas is not real. Santa Claus is not real. You know what I'm saying? He's not in the North Pole with a squad full of elves and some reindeers. You know what I'm saying? Passing out presents, coming down people. It's just a made up story. You feel what I'm saying? But when we give our children the real as they babies, as they little, they're going to grow up and appreciate us more when we telling our children the truth.
Right.
You know?
Yes, sir. And just look at that dichotomy. You telling a child, Santa Claus brought you this, or, you know, let's deck the halls, you know, with boughs of holly, blah, 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 blah. You doing all of this, and then you take them to church. Then you take them to church and learn about this man named Jesus. And even if you go to one of these progressive black churches, thanks to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, most black churches now, you know, they're ashamed to have a white Jesus on the wall. Some of them still do. But even if you got a black-looking Jesus on the wall, some very white-looking Negro on the wall, still your child is going to do the math in their mind and say, wait a minute, where is this Jesus fellow and everything I'm seeing on television?
Right.
If this is all about Jesus, how come I'm not seeing any Jesus commercials? How come I'm not being taken to sit on Jesus' lap? See, your child is thinking like this, and we got to stop telling ourselves that just because they're not sitting there with a cup of tea and a cigarette having grown folks conversations with you, you think they don't know any better.
Right.
But I'm telling you, they crunching all of this mathematics in their head,
right,
and it's not making sense. It's not making sense, and then it really starts to manifest when they become teenagers, the so-called rebellious stage, you know, and you just sitting back chalking it up to them being teenagers. You know, oh, they just teenage, oh, they think they grown. No, they confused as hell. That's what it is. You've been confusing them for 13, 14, 15, 16 years. You know, you've been saying one thing and doing another. You've been teaching them one thing, but the truth says another thing. And man, they just confused.
It's hypocrisy.
But when you confuse, you know, you self-medicate, you get on dope, you know, you start getting high. Right. You know, you go away from anybody that reminds you. You have an engram about that.
That's good teaching.
So anybody that reminds you of your parents, you rebel from them, the principal, any kind of, authority figure. So there's a science to, now some children just do ignorant stuff. I did ignorant stuff as a child, but to the children who are really what they call troubled children, if you looked into their upbringing, you will find a paper trail of lies and deceit that were fed to them, and I guarantee you in 90% of the cases, it started with Christmas.
Right.
That was the start. That was the start of it.
And real quick, because Christmas is a celebrated tradition, throughout most of the planet, and mainly by the followers of Jesus. So I want to just quickly read a scripture by Jesus in Matthew chapter 15, verse 1. Verse 3. Chapter 15, verse 1 through 3, I'm sorry. It says, "Then some Pharisees and teachers of the law came to Jesus from Jerusalem and asked, 'Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders?'" So most of us are celebrating Christmas because a lot of our elders, put Christmas on us. If they were told us the truth from the gate, we wouldn't even be doing it.
Right.
So they asked Jesus, "Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? They don't wash their hands before they eat." Jesus replied, "And why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition?"
Yes, sir.
You feel what I'm saying? Why do you all break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? If you know it's wrong, why do you continue to do it? Now, do we have a conscience? Do we have souls? Is what we have to ask ourselves. You know what I mean? I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir. All praise due to Allah. And speaking of that, in the Nation of Islam, we call the so-called Holy Bible, the poison book.
Right.
And we call it that because if you think about it, poison can be used for murder, but it can also be used for medicine. Everything that's in the pills that people take is poison. That's why they call it drug abuse.
Right.
So you can extract a lot of good out of the Bible if you reading it and understanding what you're reading.
Right.
You can't read it like a Dr. Seuss book. So like I said earlier, Santa Claus is actually a fake caricature that was absolutely designed to replace Jesus. In fact, he was given many characteristics that Jesus is given in the Bible. And I'm gonna give you about 14, 15 examples, and I'm also give you the Bible verses real quick. First of all, Santa Claus, what color is his hair? His hair is white like wool, right? Well, in Revelations 1:14, we find out that Jesus had white hair like wool.
Correct.
Okay? And also, Santa Claus comes in red apparel. It's almost like he repping Pyru or something. He all red everything. But in the book of Isaiah 63, 1 through 2, it says that Jesus comes in red apparel. Okay? It says that Santa Claus, when he comes into your house, it's a mystery. You never know when he's going to come. So leave out the cookies and the milk. When you wake up in the morning, the cookies and the milk is gone. So it's a mystery when he comes.
Right.
In the book of Luke and in the book of Mark, Luke 12:40 and Mark 13:33, it says the hour of his coming is a mystery, speaking of Jesus. Now going back to Santa Claus. Santa Claus is from where? He's from the North Pole.
Right.
Do you know that Jesus is from the north of Nazareth? You can find that in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4, and also in Psalm 48:2. It also says that Santa Claus is a toy carpenter.
Man.
What was Jesus?
A carpenter.
Jesus was a carpenter. You
Son
can
of a
find that
carpenter.
in Mark 6:3. It says that Santa Claus comes as a thief in the night, even gains entrance to your home. He basically breaks into your house, and instead of taking your stuff like a crackhead, he leaves presents. Okay, well, of course, in Matthew 24:43 through 44, it says Jesus comes like a thief in the night. And then it says that Santa Claus is omnipotent, which means he can deliver all the toys all over the world in about 15 minutes. It says in the book of Revelation that Jesus is omnipotent and all powerful. And then also says that he's omniscient, It says Santa Claus is omniscient, meaning that he knows if every single child is being naughty or nice. But in the book of Hebrews 4:13 and 1 John 3:20, it says that Jesus is omniscient and knows all. And then Santa Claus, again, omnipresent. He sees you when you wake. He sees you when you sleep. He has to be everywhere at once to be able to deliver all the toys in one short night. Same thing. If you look in the book of Psalms, in the book of Ephesians, as well as John, it says the same thing about Jesus. Santa Claus lives forever. When last you heard of Santa Claus being sick or being dead or collecting Social Security? He don't even get old. He been 82 years old for 6,000 years.
Right.
You know, but look at what it says in the scripture. Revelations 1:8, 21:6. He's ageless and eternal. It says that Santa Claus lives in the hearts of children. In the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 3:16, 2 Corinthians 6:16 through 17, it says he lives in men. It says Santa Claus is taught to us as being a giver of gifts. But in the book of Ephesians, Jesus is a giver of gifts. And then it says that, of course, we know now that Santa Claus is absolute favor. But Jesus is said to be absolute truth in the book of John 14:6. And then last but not least, Santa Claus is supposed to sit on some throne in the North Pole. And of course, in the book of Revelation 5:1, Hebrews 1:8, we know that Jesus sits on the throne of power. So, you know, they literally took Jesus, stepped on him, you know, like they do dope, like they do heroin in the hood. They stepped on him and came up with this stepped-on version of Jesus called Santa Claus. And it's being fed to people that call themselves Christians.
Right.
And will be ready to fight you over.
Right.
Who don't want to buy a final car because they believe in Jesus.
Come on.
But you paying your money to a Jew? Who's putting a Santa Claus in front of you?
Right.
Come on, man.
Zionist Jew.
At some point, as black people, we have to be offended by our ignorance. As long as we're comfortable in our ignorance, the same way a pig is comfortable in his own slop and his own filth, we got to start being embarrassed by our ignorance. And I mean ignorance in the real meaning of the word, which means just to not know. If you don't know, that's fine, as long as when you find out that you don't know, you search for the truth. But right now, we are happy, we are joyful in our ignorance.
Man.
You know, so that's our problem. We got to stop being so happy with being ignorant, man. That's our whole downfall. That covers all of our ills and all of our plight as black people, that we happy with our ignorance. We comfortable.
And I want to also remind the viewers that our beloved student, Minister Tony Muhammad, out of Muhammad's Mosque 27, he did a lecture called The Truth Hour, talking about and exposing the Christmas myth. So if you never heard that lecture, try to find it on maybe on SoundCloud or YouTube. But go ahead and listen to Truth Hour by student minister Tony Muhammad, just about Christmas, and because he's lighting Reverend Price up, you know. But somebody, I believe somebody had a question. I believe they said they wanted the history of Christmas.
Well, the history of Christmas starts with, you know, actually Nimrod.
Right.
You know, because the interesting thing about Christmas in December 25th was a celebrated day among pagans before Jesus was even born.
Right.
And what happened with, as the brother mentioned, the Nicene Creed, when Constantine said, "In hoc signo vinces, with this sign we conquer," it was also a merger.
Right.
Because basically what the Romans did, they took all the paganism from Rome and Greece and they merged it with Christianity.
Right.
They start cherry picking and saying, oh, we can take this paganism, that paganism, that paganism, let's plug that in there and mix it around with the Bible, you know, mixing truth with falsehood.
Right.
So they started off with that and made a merger of truth and falsehood and then gave it to us, and that's why so many of us now are so confused with religion and confused with the Bible. But everything that we understand to be Christmas tradition is rooted in paganism.
Right.
Everything from the mistletoe to the tree itself, to cutting down the tree, putting it in your house, silver and gold, all of that is absolute paganism, and it was done based on worship of the sun and the change of the seasons.
Right.
And Nimrod was a hero to the pagans.
Right.
They loved Nimrod. Nimrod almost single-handedly destroyed all the work of Moses.
Right.
So once again, to my Christian family, you love Jesus, you're instructed to love and respect Moses, but then you take something that's stood on top, that's propped up on the true history of Nimrod and this fake Jesus known as Santa Claus, and you let your children partake in it. I mean, come on now, you just don't do that. You know, you don't see a Jew walking around with a swastika t-shirt.
Man, come on.
So if you call yourself a Christian, particularly a black Christian, you know, and you're celebrating Christmas in this fashion, then man, listen, man, you gotta step out of your ignorance and stop being so comfortable with your ignorance.
And Minister Farrakhan gave us the best solution, especially towards our Christian families, because there's so many of you. He said, "Up with Jesus, down with Santa." You know what I mean? He said, use Christmas as a day to uplift Jesus Christ and what he taught. You know what I'm saying? He said, don't use this day for mockery. Don't use this day to get drunk, to get high, eating pork. You know what I mean? Don't use the day that is supposed to be Jesus' birthday, although we know it's not Jesus' birthday. But if you're going to do it in the name of Jesus, do it the right way. Up with Jesus, down with Satan. You know what I'm saying? Quit supporting these so-called Zionist Jews who hate Jesus Christ with a passion. They hate Jesus and don't even believe he's the Messiah. They don't even believe the Messiah even came yet. You know what I mean? But we giving them all our dollars. But me, you see a young black man on the street trying to give you some valuable information that can possibly help you, the whole black and brown family, and you spit on me. You know what I'm saying? You slap me in the face for telling you the truth, you know, but somebody's is giving you a clear lie, just lying to you, and you going to support that, family. We need to wake up and promote up with Jesus and down with Santa.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, first of all, to back up the point that the brother was saying, you know, first of all, Christmas is never even mentioned in the Bible.
Man, not one time.
Christmas is never mentioned in the Bible at all. But also, I mentioned earlier that one thing that people have to do, if you understand that this is all a farce, that it's all fake, that it's all falsehood, you know, like I said, first of all, be consistent. You know, if you won't buy a final call or even incense from some brother who calls himself a chematologist or whatever, because y'all have differences in what y'all believe, then do the same thing to these Jews who are feeding you things in Christmas. They're the ones behind all of that. But also, you know, when you're trying to get off of cigarettes or you're trying to get off of heroin, you know, when you go to a rehab clinic, they give you something called methadone.
Right.
It's a way so you can gradually get off heroin. You know, cigarettes, they sell this thing called the patch. So you can gradually get off cigarettes. So let me give a patch or some methadone for my brothers and sisters who can't come out of this Christmas ignorance.
Right.
Let me give you a patch so you can gradually get out. If you just got this hole in your pocket and you just gotta spend some money this year, and you gotta put gifts under this pagan tree to your babies and to your grandma and your mama and all these other people that you don't like and don't like you. But anyway, if you gotta do that, go to a black business.
Man, come on.
Spend your money with black businesses. I guarantee you, speaking from experience, there are black businessmen and women in your city, where you are, in your neighborhood, who can't wait to see you come through.
Come on.
Who can't wait to see you click online and go to their website and actually spend money with them. Go to places like buyblack.com. I'm going to ask our Nationtown marketing guru to go ahead and post some Buy Black websites for our people. Mm-hmm. Go and spend your money in the blackest way possible. Right. And that could be like a patch to remove you from this, you know, this falsehood that's literally killing you.
Right. Literally
killing you. We sit around all day and we talk about the spooky side of the people who run the world. Mm-hmm. You know, Illuminati, secret societies. What do all of these spooky, and there's a lot of truth to it, but what do they all have in common? These are all rich people?
Right.
Where does their money come from?
Right.
It's not, they don't
Man,
get it.
the poor.
The Rockefellers don't get a check just because their name is Rockefeller. That money's coming from somewhere.
Right.
And the main place it's coming from is from the pockets of the poor.
Right. 10%.
So you're just as bad as the Illuminati. You're
Right.
just as bad as these devil worshippers. You're just as bad as these people if you're feeding that kitty, if you're constantly putting your hard-earned money in their pockets. You might as well go and join
Right.
the Illuminati
For
yourself.
that.
So I don't want to hear
Right.
nothing else about the Illuminati when you feed the Illuminati by
Right.
spending all your money with
Right.
them. And you know, and I don't want to be self-righteous because every day I think of a way to spend less money on the establishment. And I always try to find the blackest way to spend my money.
Right.
And I always joke around with our brothers and sisters. I'm going to close with this because I think you got a question. But I always joke around with our brothers and sisters that if you can't spend your money in the blackest way possible, meaning going to a black-owned business and buying black products, if you can't spend your money in the blackest way possible, then spend your money in a light-skinned way. What do I mean by light-skinned way? Spending your money in a light-skinned way means when you go to an establishment that's not black-owned, you know, look for that server or that waitress or that black salesman that's in there. They struggling, I guarantee you. They trying to buy gifts for their children for Christmas. They trying to get out of debt. You know, if they don't give you the best customer service in the world, still go ahead and give them a tip. You know, go straight to them when you come up on the car dealership.
Right.
You know, because that white boy is going to beat them to you. He's going to run straight to you. Trust me on that. But do a little spin move on him. Go straight to that black salesman and say, listen, brother, I'm looking for a minivan, looking for an SUV. Can you help me out? So he or she can get that commission. So, you know, spend your money in the blackest way possible. And that can be a way for you to gradually wean yourself off of this pagan tradition.
And just to add to that, you know, just like I mentioned earlier, how we are a consumer nation. You know, see, we want them Jordans bad. You know what I'm saying? We want them Nikes bad. You know what I'm saying? When we gotta, ain't no black businesses. Well, why when Michael Jordan come around, but he's not backed by the so-called Jews or white Gentiles come around, we don't support him. You know, why would somebody come with their own health products, their own skin products, you know what I'm saying, that's black? Why don't we support them? And then when they not around, we are quick to say, oh, well, we ain't got this, but when we did have it, you didn't support them. You know what I mean? Like Sister said, business is warfare, so we got to support our own. We have to be able to sacrifice them Jordans, you know what I'm saying, sacrifice them Nikes or Walmart or whatever, sacrifice that for the greater good of our own people, you know what I mean? Because the black dollar don't even circulate in the black community one time. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to the Jewish community, the Jewish dollar circulates in this community 19 times. You know what I mean? Everybody touching that, just the dollar. 19 times in the community. We don't have it. As soon as we get it, as soon as black people get some money, it's going right back out the community. You know what I'm saying? People, when people want to come set up shop, they come set up shop right in our communities. You know what I mean? But we have put a lot of these people out of business if we start supporting our own, because they are raising up a lot of businesses in our community, and we are losing a lot of our businesses in our community, and it's backwards. We got a lot of backwards thinking. You know what I'm saying? That it's time to wake up.
Yes, sir. And a lot of the we needs that I hear, oh, we need on this, we need on that. The Nation of Islam is actually on that track.
Right.
You know, here in Los Angeles, we have our own school. You know, we have our own media outlet, our own newspaper. We have these things, but these things have to be supported. That's the difference between ours and theirs. We all, you know, we like the devil because he gives us nothing, but we also like him because his things seem to be shinier.
Right.
His ice is colder.
Oh man, come on.
But his ice may be colder because the brother that's selling ice, he got this raggedy freezer You know, because nobody buys his ice, and then the white boy, his ice is colder because he's got this state-of-the-art freezer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell that story at the Slauson swap meet.
Right, come on.
And I'm not really proud of this. It's a funny story, but I'm not really proud of it because our beloved state captain, not state captain, but our student captain, you know, he kind of tightened me up on this and gave me some information as a better way to handle this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell the story. So I'm pushing the final call in front of the world-renowned Slauson swap meet. You know, getting money. You know, for the most part that day, the support was great. But then there was this big brother. He had to be about 6'5", and he was coming out to Slauson swap meet. So I hit him up, you know, and his response was, "I don't believe in Farrakhan." And I smiled just like I smile right now. And then something told me, look down. And I looked down. It wasn't hard for me to look down because, you know, if I looked straight ahead, I was looking at his waistline because that's how tall he was. I ain't the tallest brother in the world.
Right.
But I looked down and I saw this huge black bag. If you ever shopped at Slauson swap meet, most of the stores in there, they don't even have legitimate bags. They just give you like something look like a trash bag. But his bag was filled with stuff that he got in this Slauson swap meet.
Right, come on.
And for the people that don't know, the Slauson swap meet is owned by Jews and predominantly operated by Asians.
Right.
So I looked at that bag and I said, oh, okay, so you don't believe in Farrakhan, but apparently you believe in them Jews and Asians. I said, well, you have a good day, brother. I love you. And I walked away and I looked over my shoulder. That brother, you ever seen them cartoons where they got steam coming out their ear and their damn train whistle was blowing?
Right.
That's the way that brother was so hot. But I kept telling him, brother, I love you though. I love you though, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that brother looked like he wanted to just rip my head off my shoulders.
Right.
And there's a better way that I could have handled that. I should have just not said that at all.
I think you did a good job.
No, it was a better way to handle it.
Real though. You have to get
I got some actual facts from some of our elders on a better way to do the same thing that I did. But you know, I had to talk it like I felt it. Because the brother said his exact words is, I don't believe in Farrakhan.
But can I say
But he
this?
had a bag full of stuff from
Can I
Jews
say this,
and
though?
Asians. Go ahead.
That I've been in so many situations out there in the field among our people, again, just by them knowing that I'm in the Nation of Islam with our elder brothers, you know, and I've seen some of our brothers keep it real with our people. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just out of malice, you know what I'm saying? But it's sometimes our people need to hear and realize how foolish that we actually sound.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if we don't tell them, if we don't let them know, look, man, put the mirror up, man, bro, you sound crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? You sound like a hypocrite. You sitting up here telling me that you don't support no black business, but you run and you give your money away to everybody that don't look like you. That's self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. But you know, brother, doing Nation Town TV and just pushing the program. We always, it may be somebody that's posted right now. I don't have a clear view of the post. And keep that in mind to all the viewers. We are trying to keep up with the comments and questions.
Absolutely.
But you know, we focused on the topic, but we are taking time on the questions and comments. But anyway, doing this Nation Town TV, but also pushing the program, we always run into brothers and sisters who have very deep-seated, I'll call them opinions about the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We always hear the Malcolm X cop-out, which is what it is. You know, and like I said earlier, for those who were with us when I mentioned this, you know, that's cool. However you feel about the minister, however you feel about Malcolm, however you feel about Islam, however you feel about the nation. See, I respect consistency. I love being around a consistent person who does the same thing regardless of the circumstances or the environment. So I'm asking my brothers and sisters who are in that you know, that contingent of brothers and sisters who like to cherry pick and turn their nose up to certain religions and certain ideologies when it comes to reaching in their pocket or showing just support and solidarity. Do that with everything. Do that to Starbucks. I know I heard a lot of feelings with that. I know I heard a lot of it. Do that to Walmart. You know, do that to Target. Go to the manager next time you go to Target or Walmart and go and ask them, what does the CEO of Target believe? What do they believe? You know the beautiful thing about the final call
But
is that what we believe is in every issue in the back page.
Right.
Do you know what the Los Angeles Times believes? Do you know what your favorite magazine, the editors of that show, that magazine believe? Do you know what they believe? You know, go to the next place you go to spend your money, and you know it's not a black-owned business. I want you to ask the manager or the employees there, what do they believe? And I want you to just take a picture of their face and post it on Facebook.
Hey.
Because they've never been asked that question, but you ask black business people that every day.
But look though, but you know what will really hurt a lot of these business owners' feelings? I ask them this question. Since you are in our community, what are you doing for the community?
Exactly.
And 9 times out of 10, matter of fact, 10 out of 10, you ask any of these businesses and these business owners in the black and brown community, what are you giving back to our community? We spending all these millions of dollars, these Christmas dollars, these black Christmas dollars on your business. What you putting back in our community?
Yes, sir. Man.
They ain't putting nothing back in the community.
Damn thing.
You know what I'm saying? But you mad at the black Muslims out there selling the paper.
And they're not doing anything for the community, and they don't care to. And the main reason is because we're not making it. You know, I read something that says that religion, you know, it's an old philosopher, forgot his name, but he said religion is the opiate of the people.
Right.
Meaning that it's something that causes people to be, you know, intoxicated to the point where you can get over on them.
Right.
You know, but he said that, I think over 100 years ago. But I think the updated version, it's no longer religion.
Right.
We live in a pretty much atheist society. This white man has turned everybody toward an atheist, you know, mindset. So now the opiate of the people is consumerism. Now the opiate of the people is dope, liquor. You know what I mean? Sex. That's the opiate of the people now. So now these businesses in our communities, the Asian liquor store, we got the liquor store right up here, the Arab gas stations, the swap meets. Now they are basically selling their products with the mindset of a dope boy.
Right, come on, that's what it is.
A dope boy don't believe in the customer's always right.
A predator.
You know, a dope boy don't ever get into no customer disputes with a crackhead.
Right.
You know, come back and say this crack is burned. Can I get a refund? You don't never hear that kind of stuff in the hood.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're selling what they're selling in our neighborhoods with the mindset of a crack dealer.
Right.
You know what I mean? A crack dealer says, "Come get your dope, pay me my money, get out my yard."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hurry up and buy.
They don't even want you to stand around and talk.
Hurry up and buy.
You know, we see crack, you know, in the hood, we see crackheads get done so wrong.
Right.
You know, they just gave all their money to this dope dealer and then get slapped in the mouth.
Man,
you know,
come
get
on.
laughed at. They joking with,
Right.
you know, they clowning the way he smells, the way he looks.
I've seen it before.
You know what I mean? So that's what you see these beauty supply stores doing.
Right.
That's why sisters are going in the beauty supply stores and being body slammed and having their clothes.
I know a
ripped off.
sister in Lancaster that happened to at a nail shop.
I mean, and we in the home of Natasha Hall.
And look, check this out.
Sister who was shot down in the Korean store
Oh,
before
man,
the
I remember
LA
that.
riots.
I remember
So,
that.
I mean, it's amazing.
And we look, for all the Christians, we gotta know Jesus. We gotta know his words. You know what I'm saying? Because he spoke prophecies in the form of parables, and I'll give you an example like this. He said, like the lightning shining from the east, even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And wherever the carcass is, the eagles are gathered together. You know what I mean? So we have to understand that the eagle is a metaphor of America. Right, and it's described, it said wherever the carcass is, describing a dead body or a body of people, right, that is surrounded by a predatory bird or a predatory people, right? So we know, just based on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that we are that dead body of people that is surrounded by a predatory people that is eating off of our flesh. That's like Minister Farrakhan has said during the Time of What Must Be Done series of the Economic Blueprint, that they are sucking the lifeblood, meaning the money. They are sucking the lifeblood out of our communities, and they are taking the money out of our community and building up their communities and not giving back to our community. And that's why he said business is warfare. And for us to go to war with our enemies, it's not just a physical war, it's an economical war. And that's why we have our economic blueprint. And he said, let's redistribute the pain. Let's stop spending money with our enemies. What person that you know in his right mind, if I know that you my enemy, I'm not about to break bread with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to break bread with my enemy. Even gangbangers don't break bread with their enemies. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta wake the hell up. You know what I'm saying? But if we love Jesus so much, see, we can't sit up here and compromise on Jesus' word. Oh, he loved everybody. Come on, man. Jesus did not love everybody. God did not love everybody. God said anybody who loves this world or desires after this world is at enmity with me. You know what I mean? And Jesus said he wouldn't even pray for this world. You know what I'm saying? So are we really following Jesus or are we following Satan?
Yes, sir. And speaking of the Bible, you know, we talking to our people who call themselves Christians, right. So that's why we browbeating on the Bible. You know, as it says, wheresoever a man's treasure is, so is his heart.
Right.
That's in the Bible. That's in your Bible. It's in my Bible. It's in the Bible.
Right.
Wheresoever your treasure is, that is your heart. Wherever you spend your money, that's what you really love.
Right.
So our economic, you know, routines show that we really worship this white man.
Oh man!
You know, we walk in. Some of us bow ties.
Right.
Some of us, Hebrew Israelite outfits.
Oh man!
You know, some of us got fringes. Some of us call ourselves Moors. But when you break down their dollars, there's two ways to really tell, you know, what kind of person a person is. You can either go through their receipts or their trash can.
Right.
You know, because that tells you what they consume and what they bought. So you can say, oh, I'm pro this, I'm pro black, I love this, I'm all about the liberation of my people. But I'm talking to myself too, because I'm not 100%. I love the fact that I spend all my money, I spend all my grocery money every week with a grocery store that's owned by a black woman. I love that. I love the fact that I get a lot of my produce from the Nation of Islam.
Right.
I love the fact that if or when I have a child, I can send that child to MUI. You know, I love the fact that my personal care products are all Eden based. You know,
right.
The soap I wash my backside with, you know, the shampoo I use, you know, the lotion I use is black owned. You know, and if you see, you know, like Tupac said, you peep the weakness in the rap game that sold it.
Right.
If you see something that's not out there, that's not available, that's black owned, then why don't you take that step? Why don't you own it? Why don't you start it?
Right.
But you know, you brought up a good point, brother. You said, who in their right mind would support their enemy?
Right.
Well, dear brother, you first have to realize who your enemy is.
Right.
When you peruse Facebook and you go to these groups and these sites and these YouTube videos that are supposed to be black conscious, you know, intelligent black people,
right.
Who does it look like the enemy really is? It looks like the enemy is each other.
Right.
So we actually doing a good job of boycotting one another.
Self-hatred.
We doing a great job of that boycott.
Good teaching.
We doing a great job of boycotting each other. So the first step is realizing who your enemy is, who they really are.
Right.
You know, like you said, you know, the brothers out there who bang or who have a gang banging mentality. Even our false flag brothers who really don't bang, but they like to claim.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't do that in the streets. You don't support somebody that's from another set.
Right.
Well, you know, you got Asians and Arabs that are on our set every day, making money hand over fist, way more money than what you're making selling dope.
Right.
You know, also, you know, to my sisters.
Well, can I add to that right quick? Real quick. And you know, but you made a great point when you just mentioned the Asians, because Asian, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, although they don't necessarily get along, they will come together to make some money. Why we can't do that?
Exactly. And you know, to my sisters, you know, if you really want to get some sisters talking, ask them about their exes, their ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands. You know, now sister, if you got an ex, I want you to, all the sisters that are watching or will watch this, I want you to imagine your least favorite ex. your least favorite, that one Negro that if you saw him in the street, you wouldn't slow down, while you drive. That brother. Now imagine that brother knocking on your door one day, selling something, selling vacuums, knives, whatever. Even if he was selling something that you actually wanted, would you buy it? Would you support this brother who cheated on you, who did you wrong? The sisters can write a book about a brother doing them wrong.
Oh man, come on, write a script.
Come on now. So who has done the black man the most wrong over the last 462 years?
And black women.
Who's done black women? Who's treated us the worst? Who did us bad? Who did us wrong? Who cheated on us? Where's our 40 acres and a mule? We've been cheated on by this white man for 462 years. So treat him like your ex-boyfriend. Fellas, treat this white man like you treat your baby mama who gotta stalk you to get $10 on the child support. Treat this white man the exact same way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we got a little baby mama drama, baby daddy drama going on, but we've been having white man drama for 462 years.
Come on, man, teach on that.
So at some point, we got to start treating him like we treat each other. And I'm telling you, when we start treating our true enemy the way we treat each other, that's the end of it. That's the end of all of at least 95% of our ills overnight. Right. Overnight. Go ahead, dear brother.
Yeah, I agree with my brother. You know what I mean? We like to cherry pick on what we like to support. We like to cherry pick on, what we want to be mad at, who we want to be mad at, but as black people, like any other race can put their differences to the side. You know what I'm saying? White people, from the far left and the far right can put their differences to the side to unite against black people. You know what I'm saying? Asians can put their different, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, Cambodians, they can put their differences to the side to make money in the black community. Why we can't put our little petty differences to the side so we can grow our nation, grow our economy. You know what I mean? And come together. You know what I mean? Because we have to unite on the basis of love. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no love for one another. We don't have no empathy for one another. It's so much self-hatred, for ourselves. But like brother said, that we have a white God syndrome. You know what I mean? I come to you, I bring I bring you blackness. I come to you and I bring you yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring you yourself. I'm a reflection of you. But the first thing come out your mouth is, we need to love everybody. Well, how the hell you gonna love everybody when you ain't even love you?
Come on now.
And I'm a part of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm yourself. I'm flesh of your flesh, blood of your blood, bone of your bone. And you hate the hell out of me because I got on the bow tie.
Yes, sir.
But you wouldn't even recognize me without the bow tie. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that we need to also, we need to first settle on the best part of one another. Second, what we need to do is unite on truth. You know what I'm saying? And because truth, because falsehood vanishes away from truth. You know what I'm saying? We can't even truly love one another and truly appreciate each other's thoughts and opinions and feelings if it's not based on truth. You know what I mean? So, and that's what this whole talk has been about, Christmas, the great white lie. You know what I mean? You can't get us to agree with this great lie that has been told about Christmas. We can't agree on that. You know what I mean? Why? Because we know the origin of Christmas, you know what I mean? So, but our mission is not to beat our brothers and sisters up, you know what I'm saying, about with this truth, but we just want to share this truth and enlighten our people, you know what I'm saying, so we can come together, because the more we continue to propagate the lie and promote and market the lie, the further and further away that we are getting from one another, you know what I mean? But we can unite on truth. But you can never unite on falsehood.
Yes, sir. And I think we have a question that's pinned for my
I don't think it's a question. I think it was a statement. Sister No GMO said, can speak about the tree and ornaments mentioned in the Bible pertaining to Christmas.
Yes,
So I read that already, but I'll read it again.
Yeah, please do.
If the viewers didn't hear, Jeremiah 10 verses 2 through 5. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. So really, the Bible, in every sense, is saying that this tradition that is being celebrated is vain worship. You know what I'm saying? It's empty. It's nothing in it. You know what I mean? A tree can't harm you, nor can it do any good to you. You know what I'm saying? So really, we are worshiping and celebrating this tradition in vain. We gain nothing from celebrating Christmas. We gain nothing.
And also in the book of Luke, chapter 2, verses 4 through 8, it points out and proves that Jesus wasn't even born in the winter,
right,
much less December. You know, if you read that Luke chapter 2, verses 4 through 8, it proves that it was actually too warm, because it mentions of shepherds, right, living out in the field.
I was looking for that.
Palestinian, in Palestine, their winters are just as bad as Minnesota, just as bad as Chicago. Don't think that that's just all desert and it's 90 degrees all year round. No, the Palestinian winters are absolutely bone chilling. We talk about that hawk. They got that hawk in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Every weather pattern that we have in America can be found in the East.
Oh yes, sir.
So it's too cold for those shepherds to be out in the field, if it was actually in December. So the truth of the matter is Jesus wasn't even born in December.
Right.
But one thing that's making a lot of headlines right now, and I'm going to tie it into what we're talking about, it's a lot of talk about the Senate race in Alabama.
Right.
And you got a lot of black folks who believe that somehow the same government that said that we're 3/5 of a man is gonna somehow save us. But I have to tell our dear brothers and sisters that there is a type of voting that can help you. It is a type of voting that can save the black man and the black woman, right, that solve 95% of our problems. Right. In fact, I know some of y'all think, I don't vote, I don't believe in voting. Well, let me tell you, you actually vote every day. Right. You vote every day with a dollar bill. That little green thing, with the dead slave mask on it, that's like a ballot. And not only does it choose who the most powerful people in this world is, but not only what company you spend that money with, but also the location where you spend it. When you spend it in a black neighborhood, you're voting for a black neighborhood. When you spend money with a black business, you're voting for that black business. You're voting for yourself. You're voting for your own. This is a battle. Even with this slave master crap on the front, this is a battle. And we spend this every day. And it determines who the real powerful people in this world are. It determines which schools are the best schools, which neighborhoods are the best neighborhoods. By this right here, this is a battle. So we're voting every day. This is the real vote. That nonsense that took place in Alabama, that clown that's in the White House right now, that orange clown in Washington, D.C., 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, that's nothing. That has no effect over your life. This actually does have, and it's not even really worth anything. It's just paper, but it's still like a ballot, like the old ballots. Now it's all touchscreen, but the old ballots was made out of paper. This is the true paper ballot. So wherever you spend this is where power is given to. This is the power behind the Illuminati. This is the power behind the government. This is the power behind the president. This is the power behind everything. And the way you spend, if you spending this with the person that you blame for all your problems, right, then you are the problem.
Right. Good teach.
You are the problem.
Good teach.
Can I keep that down?
Yeah, go ahead. I owe you anyway.
No, you got it, brother. You got it. Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah, sir. Our brother make a good point. It's Basically, every time you spend money with our enemies, you basically voting to keep them in office.
That's right. That's
You know what I'm saying? And the only way to impeach them is to do for self.
right.
The only way to impeach the enemy out of office is to accept your own and be yourself.
And when you save money, you vote for yourself.
Right.
So
And when you spend it with your own, you voting for yourself.
That's
You
right.
know what I
That's
mean?
right. That's
So
right.
yes, sir.
No, sir. If anybody has any questions, we're going to give you a couple of minutes before we close out today. But as we like to always do, we already kind of displayed it, but we also want to give a shout out to the newest edition of The Final Call. As I got from my dear brother, Derek II Muhammad, the #1 news, not controlled by the Jews. So definitely, when you see your brother out with this truth, this unadulterated truth, you know, before you say you ain't no Muslim, before you say you love Jesus, whatever you say, and if you feel like that, I want you to go to the mall with that same attitude. I want you to go in Macy's with that same attitude. Don't tell that Peckerwood chick that's selling makeup and high-end handbags and purses. Tell her that you don't believe in whatever it is that she believes.
Right.
You know, so get your final call. It's going to be a brother on some corner, somewhere in your hood, pushing this. Go ahead, support that brother, and then that's the way. If you got to spend some money, spend it in the blackest way possible. Why not? The #1 independent black newspaper. This is an international publication, all in living color. And this is just the news.
Right.
It's the current events.
Good teaching.
And if you call yourself a conscious black man, you need to know what's going on in the world. And this tells you not only what's going on in the world, but at the end, the very last page, it tells you what the editors of this newspaper actually believe in. Go get the Los Angeles Times. Go get the New Orleans Picayune. Go get the Dallas Morning News. Go get the Chicago Sun. Go get the Tulsa World. Go get whatever, the Miami Herald, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and then go find a page in that newspaper that tells you what the editors of that paper believe in. You're going to be looking all day because you're not going to find it. Okay, because they're not going to tell you that they believe that Jesus should be backstroking and boiling in his own excrement. Because most of these newspapers are ran by Jews. And they don't even believe in Jesus.
And I want to say something. If y'all want to get some gifts for your relatives, if y'all want to get some gifts for your relatives for this Christmas season, I would suggest you shop at Nationtown Fruit Market.
Come on.
We got the fruit market, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You can buy some of your products from the Nationtown Fruit Market. You buying black, you know what I'm saying? You know, and support you, accept your own and be yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because business is warfare, you know? So, I mean, with that being said, we can get ready to close out.
Yes, sir, dear brother, and that's pretty much it. As I mentioned last week, we are going to start doing movie reviews, as well as music reviews. They're going to be pre-recorded, not live, but we're going to be doing some big things with Nationtown TV. I want to thank all of those for viewing, who are going to view this and are viewing it right now, for your support. Continue to check in on your brothers. You know, continue to be active and to, you know, and engage your brothers. We ain't scared of nothing. We just get so caught up in the topic at hand that sometimes we slip on the comments and the questions.
But we always double back and answer the viewers' questions and respond to comments.
Right, and check for polls on the Nationtown Facebook website. It's Facebook Nationtown TV. We're gonna start having polls to let you choose what the main topic of our live broadcasts are, because we're doing this for y'all. We're not doing it for ourselves. You know, we both busy brothers. This brother got about 10 jobs, like he in Jamaica. You know, I got about 2 or 3 myself. So, you know, and then we gotta go out there with this.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Because it's what we believe in, not because somebody making this. You know, this is a volunteer army.
But God does everything.
You know, God does everything.
God does everything.
So we do this for y'all. So we want to deal with the topics that are important to the viewers and to the people out there. So check in on our website here on Facebook. We're also going to have a standalone website coming on very soon. And check out those polls and let us know what you would like us to actually deal with as a topic. One last check to see if we have any questions, and if not, we're going to go ahead and close it out.
Okay, yes, sir. I don't see any questions, my
All
brother.
praises due to Allah. With that said, for myself, your brother, that's all I am. I'm just your brother. I don't care what you believe, man. If you love Jesus, if you love Muhammad, whatever you believe, you don't love nothing. You don't even love yourself. I love you.
Right.
But I'm your brother, and I'm going to leave you as I greet you in the words of peace be said in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.